and co-author researches in the field of psychology, management, organizational psychology, behavioral science, positive psychology, counseling psychology, cognitive psychology, cyber psychology, child and adolescent psychology, indigenous psychology, yoga, and spiritual science. She has 8 PhD scholars under her supervision in various aspects of psychology and have 5 PhD degree awarded. She has also authored book on the title Behavioral Science Achieving Behavioral Excellence for Success and Human Values Psychological Perspective. She is a member of American Psychological Association. She has honored with Ambassador for Peace Award at the International Leadership Conference, Seoul, Korea in October 2007 by Universal Peace Federation, an NGO in consulting state in the Social and Economical Council of United Nations. Recently, she was awarded with Peacemaker Award 2017 on the occasion of International Peace Day on 21st September 2017 by Global Peace and Prosperity Initiative, United States of America. She is a trained professional psychologist and has conducted more than 120 behavioral skill training programs for 6,000 people in various dynamic fields of social development. She has provided voluntary consultancy services for finalization and ratification of testing procedure for the induction of commandos in National Security Guard. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Nandini.
Yes.
And thank you, Dr. Swati.
Ma'am, if you need any assistance, please let me know so that I can arrange.
And thank you, MP Gautamji sir, for inviting me and giving me this an opportunity to interact with our bright minds who are going to train our future generations. It's a very responsible job you have given me. And as an academician, as a researcher, as a trainer, as a professor, I've been doing this pleasant job for a long time. And I'm enjoying this more because now online I'm reaching more people than I was reaching when I was in university system. So this is a technology, what sir was talking, Upendra sir, who was my colleague. And now I'm so happy that I'm again connected with him through this platform and program. He said very important point, that technology is something which can reform. And in education system, we need a lot of reformation. I have been in this long. So I think technology cannot be underestimated, and we can only think that students are taking advantage of it. The mindset as an academician sometimes we have. So I think this is a very important point, that technology can bring a transformation in every field. And this is where I feel very happy when I see that I'm able to connect in different forums with the idea I have in the psychology field and as a psychologist. And when I see this criminal justice, what I was hearing from Bajpai sir today, it really elated me, as a psychologist, because I work in happiness, I work in emotions, and I know that how human element from crime scene to court scene, I'll repeat, from crime scene to court scene is such an important, neglected, rejected element in our process of criminal justice system. Everything has a scientific way to look at, not a prejudiced way to look at. Today, I'm going to talk to all elite faculty members, whether they're from your university or from Pan India. I would like to ask them that how emotions, we really don't know that how in our day-to-day life it makes a lot of difference. Even in our college discipline system, how we are using it, in a scientific manner. There's science behind this, science of emotion, I say, science of brain, science of mind. We need to learn that how this operates, functions, and makes us whether functional personality or dysfunctional personality. So this is where it's not criminal justice. Criminal justice system is required, rightly said by Bajpayee, that we first we need to see how a good governance is there. He said very three important points. And good, thank you, Swati, that you invited me, and I heard all speakers who really made an benchmark for how the FDP should go. And I am glad that I have my alignment in my process. Without listening also, I had that in my mind that this is what I'm going to train faculty on. But listening gave me a lot of happiness, I would say, that as a psychologist, there's a lot of need in the field of psychology, people, law people, to come and see that what is the latest recent advances going on in psychology. Psychology, if you don't know neuroscience, you will fail in psychology. I developed a paper when I teach as a professor, there's a paper, Psychology of Neuroscience. So I developed positive psychology, neuroscience. And people will ask, what is positive psychology? Psychology is always positive, it's not only clinical. So let me come to my point before I delve into what my topic is. I'm just giving you a background that why psychology or criminal psychology or forensic psychology is important. And as a field, psychology science is important. Laid down by Bajpayee sir in the inaugural address, he said that sustainable goal. He gave very important point, good governance and happiness, forgiveness. These are techniques now emerging in the field of psychology. And spirituality is also taking a big way when we talk of forgiveness and when we talk of mindfulness. How I think we have example in Tihar jail, how mindfulness changed a lot of things. I myself conducted a lot of training for jail inmates, and I can go on that. But my topic today is on this, what Swati has given me, psychology of micro expressions. And it's very, very important. When I was discussing with her, I was saying that I keep on talking on emotions because this group is for criminal justice system. Let me talk on micro expressions. So I told Swati that let me do this. If your audience is ready to take this topic, I can conduct FDP on this. So this is the background how we started. And now the point which I got from inaugural address, I have tried to relate it and align it, why it is important. And overall, to one point, human element is important. Whether you like it, dislike it, accept it, reject it, human element is important. Whether you talk of criminal justice system, whether you talk of education system, whether you talk of family system, whether you talk of societal system. Without human, we can't imagine anything happening. So whether a crime is committed, or whether justice is delivered. Everywhere the human conscious, human traits you can see, the visibility of traits you can see, the values what you were talking, I think, Nandini, the values you can see, in the visible form. Nobody can say, I'm honest. His honesty is visible, right? You can't just label yourself, I'm honest, integrated person. People see you in that. The perception, the judgment, the emotion, all these are very important concepts and components and factors to make you understand what a person is and what kind of personality I'm dealing with. So before I move to this topic, how many people are there? How many audience? They're all from your university or different, Nandini?
Ma'am, from different places in India.
So I will ask a question. So I would like participants. See, I told Swati, I don't believe in one-way communication. Technology also, I've created a lot of ideas and a lot of activities where people enjoy my training and they did not got this that now we need to leave the training, Yes, so I want to engage my participants, and it's everybody knows everything. Let me tell you, I'm just here to remind you those things in a scientific way. That's my job today. Okay. So let us participate. Let us reflect on things which we are talking today on micro expressions, which is a part of emotions and emotion intelligence concept, which you all know it. But let me understand from you all and write on your chat, what do you understand by emotions for you? Don't give me bookish knowledge. Give your own knowledge. For if I say emotion, what comes to your mind, or what is your understanding of emotion? Keep writing on chat, and I think Nandini can just tell
Yes,
me.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So I would like to hear, before I say my point from scientific, I want to hear the audience point. What do you understand by emotion? Then let me give you my planning of how many hour. I think we have till what time?
Ma'am, 12:45.
12:45. So I think 1 hour 15 minutes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So I can't break the room, breakout room. We can't do it. The role play we'll have only one group demonstrating. So we'll have now introduction with your people start writing. I'm speaking. I don't want to waste time. So you can start writing what you understand by emotion, the introductory part. Then we'll have a role play. Then I have one video of how micro expression need to be understood. So this, if I share with you, you can do on your own lot of training for yourself and for your students later. So this is the plan I have tried to curate in for my session. And if you want something more, you can let me know. But this is the idea. This limited time, I can do this much more, right? So
I think one person has wrote one message: involuntary reaction after getting stimulation.
बड़े scientific लिख रहे हैं, very good. But please write your own idea, own expression. What is emotion? Please start writing. Everybody has emotion. अगर अभी आप लोग मुझे देख रहे हैं और मैं आप लोग को देख रही हूँ, there is an emotion. And how to spot those emotions? That's what I'm going to let you know and try to give you some perspective. There must be psychology faculty also. They must be knowing it. But I would like to add more value to it, your knowledge, by giving you some latest recent advancement in this field, how we need to understand when we talk about emotions, when we talk about micro expressions. So what is emotion? If I have to ask people then, please come on, right? A volunteer want to speak, let them speak. Nandini, anybody wants to speak? What is emotion?
If any participant want to speak, please let us know so that we can arrange the same.
Yeah. ये टेक्नोलॉजी ने कभी आप लोग तो ट्रेन नहीं करती लोगों की, जब टेक्नोलॉजी की ट्रेन पे होती है, ऑनलाइन ट्रेनिंग होती है, वन वे होता है, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't believe it. If I teach my students, there's a lot of engagement I do with my students.
Ma'am, can we make all the participants to
speak? Let them speak.
Yeah. Hansi Bansal raise the hand. Hansi Bansal.
Okay, ma'am.
I allow him to.
And tell them to identify themselves, name, their area and university from which they belong. Yeah, we are getting. Let's.
Yes, ma'am.
Nancy, madam.
Allow to speak.
Ma'am, are you able to? No, ma'am.
He is written.
Chat box. Ma'am, Dr. Sangeeta Patle has written definition. Psychological response which regulate our life.
Okay. What else? What is emotion? Emotion is a mental
state.
Experience. Good. What else? So it is experience. Mostly people are talking about experience, stimulation, response, right? And that is what, when we think of criminal justice system, we want to detect the deception. How they're lying, why they're lying.
Yes.
It's a psychological response. Yes, the more I think people have given emotion as a mental state, experience some strong feeling. Okay. Psychological. So I think psychology people are giving responses. I think I want people from other area to respond. Emotion everybody experiences. I don't think we don't experience emotion. We all experience. See, our personality has 3 components. Very important. Thoughts, emotion, and behavior or action. I have made this in my book, Behavioral Science, as a T model to help people understand better what is personality. If you read psychology book, people get more confused. So I wanted to simplify things for my student and by my researchers. So I have created this model, T model, that is the way you think, the way you believe, the way you feel, the way you act. So T model is, T is thought, E is emotion, and A is action behavior. In psychological term, thought is cognitive, E is affective, that is emotion, affect, and A is action, which is punitive, behavior. So this is psychological term, but I have made it very simple for people to understand from different fields. That is T model, thought, emotion, action. Everybody, every time has this 3 component with him or her in her personality. This is a system. We all have models. Our personality, as explained by, defined by great psychologists from Harvard, personality is a dynamic organization. But when we have a dynamic organization, any organization, when you have a system in university, system in corporate, system in different places, you have some systems. Organization is a dynamic, but what systems is regulating that organization? Similarly, a personality is regulated by T model. The way you think, the way you feel, the way you act. And whole life revolves around these 3 parameters and dimensions. And if you see in psychology field, all therapy is based on this. Cognitive therapy, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, emotive therapy, then behavioral therapy, and there are many therapies now. So all the therapies are based therapeutic interventions which we use in the field of psychological counseling, psychological healing, treatment is based on these 3 parameters. So this T model is very important to understand the fundamental basis of a personality. If you understand that, you will be able to know where the problem is coming from. Problem can be from any level, thought, emotion, or action. Somebody is disturbed in thought, somebody is disturbed in emotion, somebody is disturbed in behavior. Somebody just banged doors in front of you. It is a behavioral issue. I have to correct him, I have to think and talk to his thought, go to his thought level, then emotion, then action. There's a sequence, there's a science behind it. So behavior is not something which we just show. Behavior is there is a systematic way internally we behave. There is a system behind it. You just can't behave because I want to behave. If I behave also, there is a echoing going on, Swati, I think. Please check.
Participants, please turn off your mic.
So anyway, I think coming back to our concept of emotions, emotions are, as I define simply everything as a psychologist for common masses and the field of psychology, students and researchers and faculty, emotion is energy in motion. Emotion is, E is energy in motion, simply to understand. This energy in motion can be negative, can be positive. And this dimension of positive and negative makes all differences in our life. Whether you become a functional personality, positive personality, constructive personality, or whether you become negative personality, destructive personality, or healthy personality. So we have to understand there are background behind this behavior which we need to understand. So sometimes when I used to get this statement from faculty members, and there are faculty, that is why I'm quoting this experience of mine to help you all to understand, that student is showing attitude and faculty can, ma'am, this student always shows the attitude. ये बहुत ही negative attitude बच्चा है, इसको तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता. We need to call parents and whatever disciplinary action we need to. I was responding. I was Dean Social Science. 10, 15 institutions of Amity University was there. A lot of students, a lot of exposure, a lot of experiences I gained. I think it is very important to understand if the person is negative, he needs more care. That's what I think Bajpayee sir was making a point. We are making more, university system is making more sociopaths and criminals on the road. Because discipline doesn't, research says, punishment neither increases desirable behavior, neither increases desirable behavior or decreases undesirable behavior. So what's the point? So I used to make in the university system different kinds of punishment system as a reinforcement to students, to make them think, reflect, what I'm doing is right. They will decide this is right or not. And they will come with you a lot of good plans. And I got many things done in my university when I was there. And it was eye-opener for many, I think, people who were in the committees that how could they do it this way? You have to understand their problems. So negative attitude, when you complain as a senior member, you need to think that no, if the person has a negative attitude, that means there is a problem with him. We need to understand. And there is a sequence of behavior behind this negativity, and the background, developmental experiences the child has gone through. We have to understand that. And then detect that levels of negativity, where it is coming from and why it is coming from, and how we can help him to understand, to change, to transform and reform. If we can do at educational level, I think big transformation will come in our society. And that's where I see that we as a professors, we as educators have a lot of role and responsibility to nurture this future generation in our hand, because when we are teaching in classroom or online, we are creating every moment a mind, developing a mind and creating a future for good governance or bad governance. That is what I understand from my learning and from my experiences which I have in my life. Also, coming to the point, this example is very important to understand. Disciplinary action we keep on taking the students. I'm not saying don't punish, please punish, correct them, but don't throw them out. Don't exclude them. Be inclusive. We are talking of SDG goals. And we know 2030 tak achieve hoga, mere ko to doubt hai. We keep doing a lot of good work for SDG developmental goals. And we know SDG 16, which is peace, justice and strong institutions. And SDG 3, which is good health and well-being. Where we are, I don't know. As a psychologist, I keep reminding people on SDG 3, it is my job. But when I'm in this forum, I'm reminding all of you, just see SDG goal number 16, which stands for peace, it stands for justice, it stands for strong institutions. So anywhere, justice system is very important for us to make people feel comfortable in that environment, the eco which you create in your college and university, the eco environment, the ecosystem which we talk about. And emotion is a facilitator. That's how I bring this emotional intelligence concept. Emotions is a facilitator there in your ecosystem of learning, ecosystem of growing at family or in society. How these emotions we are understanding of a student when they're in class, when they are on the campus. How do we are tapping? We are tapping those energy in the right direction or not? That's also a question in front of us and challenge in front of as educators. So the emotion is something which I express unconsciously also, because prefrontal cortex, the brain mechanism, just to let you know, here we have a prefrontal cortex and here is amygdala, which is the place of processing emotions. You have seen people that they keep their heart like this when they are tired, they can't think, because prefrontal cortex is hijacked by the emotion. You are angry, you are impulsive, you want to throw things, and then you put like this in your head. That means your prefrontal cortex, the job of this part of our brain is to think, decide, rationalize, but we are not able to do it because amygdala, the place seat of emotion, is not allowing the process to happen, because it is just shut the door of blood flow and then your mind is jammed. You can't think. This is just an important thing which we always forget about emotions and we take it for granted. And sometimes you have heard your parents say, "Gussa mat dikhao, control your emotions." Bhai, aap nahi kar sakte. When I do training for parenting, I tell them, please, you are human, you are shouting, and you ask your child not to shout. How is it possible? Either you don't shout, talk politely, they will talk politely. It's give and take. If I start shouting, will you like it? So you're humans, you all like good behavior, polite behavior. And when it comes to discipline, my dear fellow colleagues, I have been in this field for long. To give you a piece of advice, you have to be firm, not rude. Even in committee, I used to correct people, please don't shout like this. When I used to chair the committee, I did not allow any faculty, any senior people to say any negative things to any student. As sir was saying, space to a victim. I allowed that in my tenure. And I am happy about it. I got the right picture of the scene of the violent behavior of students. I can go on quoting many cases of my experiences which I have dealt with. What I'm making a point that you have to be firm, but not rude. Rude means that you don't have particular vocabulary to speak. So learn communication skill. I would rather say that. Try to add vocabulary to your communication skills, that you need some words to express. Actually, I train people on how to use precise term and particular terminology to define the problem of a student, or in a process of counseling when I do for clients. Precise communication. Diagnosis jab karte hain, medical science. If it is not precise, what will happen? People will lose their life. Isn't it? We all know what is happening. So similarly in the psychology field, I want to understand that disturbed psyche. What is the precise diagnosis I have to do for this problem? Whether I have to change that hurt psyche with something positive and replace, unless and until I replace that hurt psyche, the child or student or human cannot be reformed. That's it. The inner psyche. With my experience, being in field of psychology and this organization, I want to promote that how psychology leads to mental health solutions and many other areas of life where we forget sometimes with our unconscious way of dealing things, because the habit has become like that, we become so robotic, mechanical. And I also agree, AI can't do anything for you if you don't know what is inside going on. Emotion is ruling every time. Even people.
यार हमारी बोले आओ ना बॉटल CHM पे.
स्वाति मैम, आपका माइक
खुला हुआ है आपका. प्लीज
सॉरी मैम.
नो प्रॉब्लम. तो ये AI क्या कर सकता है? देखिए, टेक्नोलॉजी में अभी इतनी डिस्टर्ब हमने खुद से रोका ना. सो अगर हम AI की बात करते हैं, इवन हार्वर्ड प्रोफेसर, he wrote a very good article. I want to make here a point because you all are from different fields and you will be happy to note this and also use when you do kind of justice system discussion. That he said in his article that it is not that AI system will be a better boss than human boss. Human boss will be far better than AI boss. Many IT companies are thinking of creating that kind of system. Why he said that? He said that when you create a system, it has a bias. You can't say that there's no bias. For example, then I reflected when I was reading. I do a lot of reflection through reading also. I reflected why he's saying that when you create a system, there is a bias. Because there are group of people who are creating. It's not tested with the mass population. Foolproof system is always tested with the mass population, and standard size sample is very big, and then it is authentic. We also do research. when we develop tools. In the field of psychology, we develop tools. We have to conduct that in large sample size, and then you get to know that yes, this tool is now foolproof. Similarly, AI has to be conducted in large population, before it comes to practice or applicability for us. He said that if those group of people have some biases, that will come in the system. You can't correct it. You can't do away with it. Every human has some biases. So we have to, how these biases can go, we have to discuss and have debate and then iron it out and bring a consensus to create the system. But do we do that? We don't have time. So I experienced this when I was filling one form and I thought, isme ye bhi column hota to zyada better hota. We all have experienced this kind of situation when we fill some kind of form. So AI is doing all good work, but you thought, "Arey, isme ye bhi hona chahiye tha. Ye kyun nahi pooch raha maam?" So human mind is better, still better. You are thinking, seeing that system also, ye system sab, and sometimes you come across very good system that free flow hai ekdam. So that is, this kind of situation is very less, minuscule if you ask me. So that's what Harvard professor, I think, brought the notice to us that yes, please be aware that you can't just depend upon AI and just think, acha, AI, we don't have to worry. Yes, all that administrative issues which takes a lot of time, data keeping, that can be done. There's no issue. I'm okay with it. But when it comes to human element, I'm not okay with it. And I'm not saying because I'm saying as a psychologist, I'm saying because I have learned from many professors, India and abroad. Just to quote one professor, Professor Antonio, he said that emotions cannot be captured by AI. It is a fundamental intelligence of humans. It is how we use it for our better outcome in decision making. That's our human system which will dictate, not the AI will dictate. Please go through his videos. It's amazing, neuroscientist. I would call for attention for all psychology faculty and other faculty. You need to be updated on neuroscience, what is happening. As a psychologist, I am updated. You can ask me any question, I can go on telling you that how neuroscience is going to shape and change the behavioral judgment, the judgment of people who are using this. When in criminal justice system also, there is a neuroscience of forensic science, let me tell you. I don't know whether you're teaching that paper or not. You should include in your syllabus and teach students to all field, not only psychology, law, psychology, and people who are learning forensic science. This need to be taught to all different stream students as a common paper. So what I'm trying to make a point that any point you debate or discuss, human elements and human emotion becomes an important. And it becomes a defining part because it's a physiology which makes expressions, but we fail to detect it. And that's how the criminals and the people who are high risk and violent behavioral trait, they use this as their mind game and start playing with their relationship, with their immediate ones, or the crime they want to conduct, and some trigger comes and they commit a crime. So this is something which we need to understand, how we need to understand emotions to make you understand further in emotion intelligence. It's the intelligent use of emotion. I don't go by the definition which is there. I try to simplify. For me and for my learning and experience with so many people in training, different field, whether police, whether corporate and educators, I have tried to see that everybody wants to be emotionally intelligent. But I raise a question. You have to have this PQ concept, personality quotient. I am thinking to develop a test on this, because now we have to take a personality as a whole. You can't take only partially. So TQ, that is total quality person, how would you understand? That is the concept which I want to understand and further deliberate and bring out a test on that. It is personality quotient. So if your personality is doing well, then you're high PQ. And if you're not doing well, it can be average and below. And emotional intelligence is a facilitator. So it is intelligent. What to understand emotional intelligence, what Daniel Goleman has. It's a wonderful book. We all should read if you have not read it. That how Daniel Goleman has defined that emotions, and let me tell you, in psychology field, emotion was nothing new. You know, it was already there in 1920 in Thorndike social intelligence theory. He explained long in 1920. And it was suddenly how it became a buzzword because of Daniel Goleman book, Emotional Intelligence. You know, everybody talked about emotional intelligence. So it is something which he defined emotional intelligence as that how I understand and manage myself and how I understand and manage others. Simply, I put it, what Daniel Goleman has defined 5 components in emotional intelligence. So how you understand yourself and manage yourself, and how you understand others and manage others. Simple, it is your emotional intelligence, right? So self-awareness, which has self-motivation, then empathy, handling relationship, and social. These are 5 components. You can read on your own. This is something which is not new. It's already done a lot of time. But what I want to bring in this newness concept is personality quotient. Your whole personality behaves. आपने देखा, अभी मैं कराऊंगी रोल प्ले, आपने देखा होगा when you are troubled, when you are happy, फर्क होता, and then you see the whole personality is behaving. When have you experienced yourself that flight and fight experience, which Hans Selle, a great psychologist who gave this concept of stress, fight and flight. You know, when you are angry, you see the gush of energy is flowing where? In your hand or in your feet. Whether you want to run or just bash or throw things. Because your energy has to be released from your body. So you're normal. You will release. So release it in healthy manner. I train people how to release in healthy manner. There was one case I remember very interesting, that one student said, "Ma'am, I get very angry very easily. और मेरे को मन करता है कुछ कर दे." मैंने कहा कुछ मत करना, न्यूज़पेपर रखो, न्यूज़पेपर को फाड़ते रहो जब तक तुम्हारी एनर्जी निकलना चाहिए. So this worked for him. And he said, "Ma'am, you are great." मैं कोई ग्रेट नहीं, तुम ग्रेट हो, तुमने कर दिया. वो आप ऐसे बच्चे जो उनको इम्पल्स कंट्रोल नहीं, उनको सिखाना पड़ेगा ना. माइंड को, आई एम ट्रेनिंग हिज माइंड. यूज न्यूज़पेपर, ओल्ड न्यूज़पेपर, टीयर इट ऑफ, बिकॉज इस एनर्जी को निकालना ही है, नहीं तो क्राइम्स क्यों हो रहे? आपके डेवलपमेंट एक्सपीरियंसेस जो हुए हैं इतने दिन से, पेरेंटिंग या स्कूल, कॉलेज, वो इट इज सप्रेस्ड. एंड सिगमंड फ्रॉइड, ग्रेट साइकोलॉजिस्ट, सेड suppressed emotions will come in uglier form. I will repeat, please make a note of it. Suppressed emotions will come out in a more uglier form. Whether it is crime, whether it is violent, whether it is risk-taking, it will come out. So it is better. That's what we all are humans, dear. We will have that kind of impulsiveness when something happens, you know. So it's better to release in a healthy manner and be positive personality. You know? I also get angry. It is not that people don't people will not say that ma'am doesn't get angry. I get angry, but my anger is justified. Sometimes I get angry with students. I tell them my anger is justified. I'm firm in my communication. I tell them this is why I'm angry with you all. I'm not keeping to myself. And I've told this is my personality. If I'm administrator and senior person, I'll tell this is my personality. This is what hurts me. This is what makes me anger. If something is not done properly, I really want a good job done by everybody. So these are parameters. If there's something you don't want to do or there is a problem, please tell me before the project ends. Don't tell me the excuses. So why to shout? People know, ma'am, pehle bata diya ye cheez karna, A, B, C, D, E. So what happens when we don't tell students, children that this is what I'll behave when you will not do this thing? Rather shouting, give them consequences beforehand. But we start shouting. अच्छा तुमने ये अभी देखो मैं बताती हूँ. क्या बताती हूँ? बताओ तो. पेरेंट्स भी कहते हैं अच्छा पापा को क्या बना दिया आपने, डैड को क्या बना दिया, या मॉम को क्या बना दिया. Why this gender inequality you create? Let's talk about gender balance today. You know? Don't use these kind of language which you are using. Language has to be very gender balanced when you train your children or students in school and college. Gender balance, gender neutral language. I keep on reminding everybody, and nobody's heard that. So this was just to remind you that how emotions play a very important role, whether it is angry or whether it is happiness, whether any kind of emotion, we have to express. You cannot and not express your emotions. I can see, I think Herman, your name is Herman? Hiramani. I can see her smiling. So I can gaze her expressions. It's genuine or not. It's real or not. I can see Nandini. I can gauge it. Fake smile क्या है? यही micro expressions है. Micro expressions deal with your facial expressions. And when we talk about criminal justice system, it's not that people use this, but that's what as a psychologist, my finding is that the human element is quite neglected everywhere in criminal justice system. And I raise this point to CBI director, who is the director, Asha Srivastava, she's the director of the CBI lab, if you see in Delhi. We invited her in one of the conference we conducted from our organization. And we found that she said, now that era is gone, Dr. Abha, that what we do, we have a composite team when crime scene happens. I interest because I have seen people, there are many reports which we read that there is a crime and investigating officer goes and collects all whatever sample as a forensic expert. There should be a forensic expert, there should be a psychology expert. She is herself a psychology background, the CBI director lab who is right now taking care. So she said that I have created a composite team. I have visited many crime scenes as a psychologist. So this is very important because we whole life learn how to observe. And poor investigating officer, usko kuch thodi si training deke usko bolte ab jao crime scene. One of the state in South, they have started picking students from forensic and psychology, making a team, and they're visiting crime scene. That's the way. We have to engage psychologists because they are expert in human element. How to identify, how to decipher the crime scene. And I would suggest all of you to receive that movie, Forensic Science, because the organization with which we had done this conference is the SIF, who has guided this movie scientifically, forensic, in Z movie, if you see, I think Z TV, which on the OTT, if you want to see. It is very scientific way they have used forensic science knowledge and psychology knowledge. And he is a good friend of, because we do a lot of conferences together online, and still we are doing on latest one now, we are doing on acid attacks and survival and etc. So we keep doing these kinds of things, and we come to know that where is the gap, and that is why I'm talking with so much of confidence that these are the gap. Even the lawyers, the police, they all reported this, that human element is quite neglected. So as a psychologist, as a lawyer, you need to be expert, and as a forensic scientist, as a criminal psychologist, as a forensic psychologist, you have to be expert in immediately getting the hand of it, what is happening, what has happened behind this scene, the signature behavior which we talk in crimes. What is the signature behavior? What is the signature pattern which has emerged? Whether that signature pattern was used in the crime modus operandi of conduction of crime or not. And signature behavior is the same thing, that it is your theme of inner desire and emotion which comes out, in the crime. And if you know as a personality psychologist or psychologist, you'll make out, this is the problem, So now I think there's not a lot of things I can go on talking, but time is limited. I want you people to understand this further on micro expressions. But before I give you the last bite on micro expressions, I would like 5 minutes role play from participants to come forward, and then we will talk on micro, because I have to create a background on micro expressions. So you will understand better. You'll never forget this session then. That kind of idea, I want to take it forward. So I want 4 people as a role play. They please nominate Swati because people are not coming forward on their own. And then I will give instruction what you have to do. And because this requires a breakout room तो अभी हम लोग नहीं कर सकते because time कम है. So at least we can have 4 people identified. 1 speaker, 1 face decoder, 1 body decoder, and 1 speech decoder. जल्दी जल्दी आइए सामने. This will be a fun. अब 1 वे सुन के आप लोग थक नहीं गए? मैं थक गई बोल के आप लोग थक गए? मैं तो हाथ रेस कर देती भाई मैम आप कुछ और कराओ. सही कह रहे हो ना मिस्टर दिनेश जी?
Yes, ma'am.
4-5 लोग लाइए, नहीं तो अपने अब डिपार्टमेंट को लाइए. It will be interesting. We'll do one quick role play in 2 minutes.
Ma'am, I'm
Mansi
interested.
Trivedi.
मानसी त्रिवेदी, ठीक है. वीडियो पे होने चाहिए भाई. ये तो एशिया में लोग ये चीज को समझते नहीं कि when you have this Zoom call or Google Meet call is all video call.
Yes, ma'am.
तो मैं हम लोग उनको देख पा रहे हैं स्क्रीन पे?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
आप लोग देख पा रहे
Make
हैं?
them tell. Yes, ma'am.
सो 2 हो गए. स्पीकर, फेस डिकोड 2 हो गए ना. स्पीकर और फेस डिकोडर. बॉडी डिकोडर. फॉरेंसिक के भी स्टूडेंट्स हैं यहाँ, फैकल्टी हैं यहाँ पे.
फैकल्टी है ना मैम?
Yes, ma'am.
डॉक्टर कीर्ति मैम.
हाँ तो आइए प्लीज कम फॉरवर्ड. यू विल लर्न. आई होप आई एम नॉट बोरिंग यू ऑल.
यस मैम. डॉक्टर कीर्ति निगम मैम.
मैं कह रही हूँ आप लोगों को बोर तो नहीं कर रही हूँ मैं?
No, ma'am.
No. We are enjoying मैम.
देखिए मैंने क्वेश्चन को फिर चेक किया ना कि whether I'm going right or not.
भाग्यश्री.
Yeah.
No, ma'am. She is not in the meeting. I think.
4 लोग हो गए अब.
Meeting ना. She is in the meeting.
Yes, ma'am. Now she is in.
Yes.
हो गए. So
Ma'am, only 3 participants. Only 2 are there.
नहीं तो आप लोग स्पॉट करिए. वॉलंटरी नहीं हो रहा है, इनवॉलंटरी आप लोग लीजिए, डिसीजन लीजिए, डिसाइड. आप लोग में से कोई आइए बिकॉज दिस इज व्हाट फैकल्टी. अगर फॉरवर्ड नहीं आएंगे तो स्टूडेंट को कैसे सिखाओगे आप लोग?
Yes, ma'am.
आई एम नॉट कंप्लेनिंग, प्लीज डोंट टेक माय वर्ड्स नेगेटिव. आई एम जस्ट रिमाइंडिंग इट्स you are a role model for students.
Ma'am, हाँ.
Nancy Benson.
Very good. You have to read emotions. Let us see how we do it, you know. This is a very exciting. जहाँ भी मैं करती हूँ online, people enjoy. मैं every day I develop something new for online audience, and I'm enjoying more. ठीक है, because I could have used breakout room because if you could have time for half day workshop होता है, but to shorten it, I have taken only 1 group, and then you can do in your classrooms and with your students. It will be very fun dividing in groups. But right now we have only 1 group. So we have who will be a speaker? Raise your hand and identify yourself. Speaker कौन बन रहा है?
Mansi, ma'am.
Mansi. Mansi, you're from which background?
Law.
Ma'am, I'm from law background actually. I'm teaching here as an assistant professor in Vaishnav Institute of Law itself.
Very good. Great. I am thankful to you for accepting this role as a speaker.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Face decoder.
Nirvan Ingole, ma'am.
Nirvan ji, आपका किस department से? Identify yourself.
I am from forensic department, madam.
Same department.
Yes.
अच्छा. Very good. Thank you for accepting this. Then body decoder.
Ma'am, Dinesh.
दिनेश जी, आप किस डिपार्टमेंट के हैं?
Forensic से ही मैम.
सारे फोरेंसिक के. साइकोलॉजी वाले नहीं है क्या यहाँ पे? Anyway, स्पीच डिकोडर. एक और चाहिए ना? 4.
Bhagyashree. Bhagyashree has raised the hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Bhagyashree,
Yes, ma'am.
please on your camera.
Okay.
Yes.
Bhagyashree,
Yes, ma'am.
tell your area, which area you're from?
Forensic.
Forensic. Good. And so you will be, your role would be, बताइए मैंने अभी क्या बोला?
Bhagyashree madam, please switch on your mic.
You are speech decoder.
Okay, ma'am.
Now, I'm openly telling you, but there's no way we could have just hidden the agenda behind. So if the speaker can call me, तो मैं फोन पे उसको अकेले बोल सकती, अगर बात कर सकते. स्पीकर को मेरा नंबर दे दे स्वाति. स्पीकर कौन है? मानसी है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
तो मैं फोन पे बताऊंगी, and then I will tell you what the instructions. So this is something which need not to be disclosed to everyone. That's the learning
All
part.
right, ma'am. Okay,
The
ma'am.
audience will also learn a lot here. Yeah. You can call me on my phone. My phone is in front of me.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I'll tell you the instructions, all speech decoder, face decoder, आप लोग को क्या करना है, ठीक है? Hello. Yeah. So now I think Mansi will share her experience and narrate her emotional story. And I would now ask face decoder. I think clear है कि क्या करना है face decoder को. Expressions आपको note करते रहना है. And same for body decoder, body language देखना है. Face का expression देखना है face decoder को. Speech recorder, speech में क्या आ रहा है? Pitch, tone, tonality, intensity, you have to. Got it, everybody? So, now paper,
One question is there. I have to note down the emotions, right?
अब आप करिए जो देखिए आप. Face decoder, yeah, that's what I think. Let us hear from her. जो आपका face decoder वाला responsibility assign हुआ, Nirvan.
Yeah, yes.
So you will see the facial expressions and try to note what minute से minutest if you can do it, I will be very happy.
Okay.
I am not saying कि वो मानसी अभी नेगेटिव बताएगी, मुझे भी नहीं पता क्या बताएंगी अभी, मैं भी पहली बार सुनूंगी. So we all are very objective right now. We have to have objectivity in our mind right now. कि हम लोग पहले से जो मानसी को जानते भी अगर ये 4 ग्रुप में, forget that Mansi right now. Mansi is going to narrate a story and we have to decide and judge something. तो if पहले से prior judgment लेके बैठ जाएंगे, यही तो judgment की problem हो रही है हमारे देश में. You know, preconceived notion, prejudiced mind, we are doing all judgments, you know, every time we are hearing, and we then defy. And what sir was saying, public reactions is also part of public law and criminal justice law. And that's what you can see here, what is going to happen, you know, in this boardroom of online training sessions. So let's start. Time. So everybody's understood face decoder, body decoder, and speech decoder. The face decoder hai, again I'll repeat, Nirvan ji, and Dinesh hai, speech, body decoder, and speech, Bhagyashri.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it? So aap log attentive rehna, and even audience should be attentive. If they want to give any point when I ask them, they should. And आप देखना best participation prize भी देना चाहो तो स्वाति दे सकते हो आप किसी को, टॉफी चॉकलेट जो भी आपके पास है, virtual chocolate. Yeah, let's start. Let's go. Time starts. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. So to start with, when I was young, I was very much interested in teaching, and I used to usually scribble in the boards, or rather I would like to go with my mother somewhere or the other, because my mother is also a school teacher. So I usually went with her. I always saw her teaching. I always saw how she used to teach the students, the blackboard she used, the chalks she used, then the pens and the pencils. So I was very much fond of stationery, and I was fond of this teaching elements that my mother used to use. So gradually, when I saw her, she did her M.Ed in front of me itself. So I also realized that how she has been educating herself or gaining knowledge with respect to different kinds of areas that she's been teaching. And with that, I also started with my career with teaching itself. I never thought I would come into teaching. But then because my mother inspired me a lot, so I also went into teaching. And this teaching itself inspired me to pursue my career with respect to different aspects in law itself, because we are of law field, so we have so many specializations, and these specializations, it is very difficult to choose any one specialization which would help us to understand whether we are really interested in that particular area also or not. So if I talk about SVV again, SVV has given me a base with respect to starting off with my actual career with respect to my PhD, right? So when I entered SVV, I got this opportunity to give the examination. I actually saw so many people working with me, especially with respect to the forensic science field. So they gave me an understanding of how important it is to go for the field or go for the such PhD field where it would enhance the knowledge, which would bring India into a proper area, right? India into the circumstances where forensic science can be understood and can be taken as one of the primary evidences rather than being it secondary. So this is how I came into so I understood that now I should go for PhD, and that to a specific field that would include forensic science itself. And that is all because of the study, all the faculties that I've seen in the SVV working with SVIFS, and they inspired me that yes, I should actually go ahead with this field because this is going to be the future of India. So that is the story that I wanted to let everybody know.
Very good. I think let's clap for her spontaneity and expressions which she has made now. Now, do you want some time or you have noted simultaneously? Time चाहिए 2 minutes आप लोग बोल सकते हैं, or you want to just give 2 minutes to note down and then say बोल सकते हैं? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You all have seen that she has narrated a story, but she has not used that vocabulary. Purposely we did that. That vocabulary has to be decoded from all speaker and the body and the face decoders. Let's hear from them. So Naveen, you have decoded?
Yes, ma'am.
You have decoded.
Decoded in the sense I have noted some of the expressions.
So your role was to?
Face decoder.
Your role is a face. Now listen, everybody, participants, that what is the finding of face decoder?
Yes, ma'am. It is what is personal story of the Mansi Trivedi madam, in which she has expressed how she was inspired by her mother and how he continued his career in the SVV. So whatever the facial expression that I have noted, that is what she has straight eye contact while talking. Second one is the speech, the continuity or the spontaneity of the speech was very good. So it shows the confidence, or the confidence level was I have seen onto the face of her. Then some of the time exclamations, right, somewhat excitement, some of the kind of the speeches, high speech, low speech was observed during her speech. Instead of this, some of the hand movements I have also observed. Basically, it's not my part, but I have observed that hand movements she has incorporated. So overall, it was a confidence, exclamations, some of the spontaneous talking, confident, and straight eye contact. These are what the facial expression which I have noticed over here.
So, what kind of emotion you say from this interpretation which you have brought in?
Emotion in the sense he was confident and he's happy. So happiness can be happiness.
According
can be noted down.
So that indicated happiness according to you.
Yes.
Okay, so we park this point here now, and all audience, please listen, keep this point in your mind, and then let's go to next decoder. Who is ready?
Yes, ma'am. Dinesh.
Yeah, Dinesh, body decoder. Let's hear from you.
Ma'am, I am having two observations in body movements. The first is a body language showing positive mental model in delivery. And the second, my observation is too much hand movement showing some little confidence in the delivering the some talk. So that is my second observation.
Okay.
Overall, the body movement showing that she is confident to deliver, but too much hand movement showing that some obstacles or having some mental blockage to deliver some areas where she is not expert, right? So that's things I observe in the body.
So I hope you don't know her. In that perspective, you are bringing your background information also there. Maybe. Yes, I think I am just giving an observation as a moderator. So I think, right, good enough. Thank you. I think you have given your perspective. Let's hear, and then we will finally decide what exactly it is. Speech decoder.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. On the basis of her speech, like her pitch was high, so I feel like she's very active, and she was saying the true story. So so she was saying that kind of confidence in her talk, and even I thought she's a lady with positive approach, and even like she's very much dedicated for her career. Even she is like inspired by her mom. So even from the since her childhood, she is kind of positive, and she's following her mom. And I whatever she said, that was true.
Good. Any other observation of anybody from audience or from other decoders? Then we'll come up to conclusion.
Please raise the hand if you want to give any observation. Anyone?
Anyway. So, in totality, all decoders, they did a good job. Let's give a big hand to them. And Mansi for supporting and coming forward. Thank you so much, and big hand to her as well, because without speaker, ye hota nahi possible exercise. So that's very important, and somehow it came out to be positive experience. My being myself, I think myself a very positive person. So sometimes negative experiences bhi mil jate hain mujhe role play se, but I am happy today that I got a positive experience of a person coming from a forensic science department, So see, I think everybody gains that positivity. ये उसने तो कहा नहीं कि मैं positive हूँ. Did she? And purposely, that was the instruction that don't use this term. फिर भी आप लोगों ने guess कर लिया. कोई ट्रेनिंग लिया साइकोलॉजी का? फिर कैसे बोल दिया? So we have that in us. We all humans have that processing of emotion. We do it whether we are from psychology background or any background. It's a humanistic approach which we all learn from our culture, from our environment, and we pick up, So decoders ne सारी चीज positivity की ओर highlight किया, the speech, the kind of tone she had, the gesture she had. But closely अगर इसको हम ज़्यादा watch करते, only face, that becomes a micro expression. Micro expression becomes half a second and short span expression which we do it because amygdala ने काम कर दिया, हमें पकड़ना है क्या. यहाँ पे वो चीज आप लोगों ने भी किया. I must say, I think दिनेश या निर्वाण ने expression को पकड़ लिया. Though you are not psychologist, but you did that. But आप लोग की भी training है forensic sciences, how to identify the deception. But यहाँ पे deception नहीं था, यहाँ पे honesty था, easy था, easy experience था, story narrative जो था इनका personal था, है ना? And maybe you people are knowing some kind of biased element also कि हम मानसी को जानते हैं, the kind of personality she is. So that also I would not say कि नहीं आया हुआ, दिमाग में आया हुआ सबके, वो this is how our brain functions, But हमें अपने brain को train करना पड़ता है to be objective, I am in this field, I take decision for many clients, many problems, many decision making मुझे हमेशा लेना पड़ता है उनके लिए. So I have to train my mind to be very objective. I can't bring my biases in that decision making, and I have learned that through my training, how it is possible. And Bhagavad Gita is a great learning instrument for me and therapeutic instrument for me to how to be objective. And no psychology books have taught me that, and that's how I'm trying to integrate spirituality and all Indian systems in psychology field to become a robust system for an understanding human behavior. We can't just follow what American psychologists and whatever they say. They are all doing all spiritual advancements in the researches, and we are just the owner of it, We just own this heritage, but we need to do something about it. So this is what I was trying to observe from all the decoders. They decoded rightly. They made this is a positive narrative. Non-verbals भी आपने अच्छे से mention किया, whatever I think facial आपने किया, body decoder. हाँ, एक question, एक observation से hand movement बहुत ज़्यादा है. So that is interfering in something. Maybe वो इतना ज़्यादा कुछ करना चाहते हैं, वो match नहीं हो रहा speed, होता है ना जब speed match नहीं होता. So that is also I think which Mansi can tell. We are not integrating her right now, so we can't just check with her. But when it comes to checking indisciplinary acts of students or violent behavior, we have to check those things, कि ये क्यों ऐसा कर रहा है, how to understand that. So ये कितना easy था, आप लोग ने कर लिया ना सबने. Everybody can do it, but we have to give time to those things. Even जब आप फोन पे किसी से बात करते हैं, आप स्पीच डिकोड कर लेते हो. आप आज बहुत लो टोन है, क्या बात है? फ्रेंड्स को या पेरेंट्स को खासकर क्या बात है आज आपका टोन में? Because they used to your voice, ना. मैं तो कितने सालों किसी का भी वॉइस सुनूं पहचान लूंगी कौन. मैं नाम जरूर भूल जाऊंगी, वॉइस से पहचान ये इसी का है. फिर उनको बताऊंगी, आप तो मैम आप कैसे पहचानोगे आपकी वॉइस से? तो ये चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है समझना कि ह्यूमन बिहेवियर इज एक्सपोज्ड एवरी टाइम, And one criminal psychologist, in theory, I was reading, I have interest in this area, that's why I'm here today with you all, that personality is what we express and personality is what we don't express. So this is very important point to note. Personality is what we express and personality is what we don't express. And what we don't express is your domain. To use scientific knowledge to identify, to detect, and give justice to the victims. So this is what it is. This is science which has to be looked at scientifically, and people should be trained when they go to crime scenes to observe and find the facts before it is mishandled, if you ask me. And then we put to the court and reports in the reports or in the media as it comes. So point here is, if emotions are such an important point, without knowing that ye Swati ka, this Mansi ka positive experience hai, usne to bola nahi, aap log sab samajh gaye. That's the importance, that's the power of emotions. कि अगर नेगेटिव है तभी आप समझ जाते हैं, पॉजिटिव था तभी समझ जाते हैं ना. The emotion is not a big deal, but how do we understand that becomes a big deal. That's where the problem lies, and people can hide that. अभी आपको एक दो मैं वीडियो दिखाऊंगी जो माइक्रो एक्सप्रेशंस का. You will see how people are hiding, and we also do sometimes when you are under great tremendous pressure. आप नहीं कर पा रहे हो, प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट कर रहे हो, बॉस आपको बोल रहे हैं, हेड्स बोल रहे हैं कि आपने नहीं किया, यू हाइड इट. आप हाँ सर हो जाएगा, लेकिन आप अंदर से दुखी है कि हम कर नहीं पा रहे हैं. वो दुखी जो है, वो दुखी का तत्व जो है आपके फेस पे दिख रहा है. जो एक्सपर्ट होंगे मेरे जैसे पकड़ लेंगे, वो दिख रहा है, बड़ा पता नहीं. लेकिन अगर मैं आपसे पूरी तरह से काम, तो मैं उस दुख तत्व को पकड़ के डिस्कस करूँ कैसे आपकी ये जो अनहैप्पीनेस पॉइंट है, कैसे आपसे उसको निकाला जाए आपके दिमाग से, एंड आपको सिखाया जाए. आपके पास स्किल नहीं है शायद, तो आप काम कर पाओ अच्छे से. See, expertise means not only one skill, it's a combination of multi skills. Then you become an expert, na? तो जब भी कोई प्रॉब्लम होता है, तो we have to talk to our seniors, to our mentors, our guide. तो ये थोड़ी है कि हम अज्यूम करते हैं ऐसे हो जाएगा. जब काम डिलीवर करने का टाइम आता है तो फियर और डर हो जाता है. वो गलत बात है. मैं तो हमेशा अपने फैकल्टी को आओ बात करते हैं, लेट्स डिसाइड, लेट्स टॉक ऑन दैट. आई वांट अ गुड आउटकम. और हमारा इमोशन से हमेशा आउटकम दे देता है पहले, लेट मी टेल, क्योंकि एमिगडला तो प्रोसेस कर रहा है ना, आप रोक नहीं सकते उसको. वी आर टॉकिंग, आवर इमोशंस आर बीइंग प्रोसेस्ड. आपको अच्छा लग रहा है, बुरा लग रहा है, वो मुझे एक्सप्रेशंस दिख रहे हैं. So what I mean to say that emotions are very vital, like a vitamin. It is a vitamin of human growth, if you ask me. I used to tell parents that don't give your children calcium vitamins and all kinds of tablets you try to give your child. Give emotion as a vitamins to your child. Hug them. We don't hug our child, you know. Hugging experiences of children and couples have found very good result. How oxytocin hormone is generated in the mind, happy hormones. बच्चों को when children are growing, they want that. Even आप कभी students को अच्छा करता गले लगाते हो, you hug them. It's something, it's a human expression. Who says it is between boyfriend and girlfriend and husband, wife and parents only? It's an emotion. It can be expressed with anyone if you want. Don't limit it. That's where we are having such a strange society today, you know. And Dalai Lama, great Dalai Lama is starting compassion course and everywhere in Mind Life Institute in US and India and everywhere. Compassion सिखाना पड़ रहा है. सोचिए, positive emotion, compassion, happiness सिखाना पड़ रहा है. हार्वर्ड में तो ऑलरेडी कोर्सेज चल रहे हैं. इंडिया में मैंने कहा शुरू कर तो लोग हंसेंगे, इंडिया में भी शुरू कर रहे हैं. बट अभी भी यूनिवर्सिटी स्टिल आई एम वेटिंग कि यूनिवर्सिटी को ये शुरू कर. मैं शुरू करना चाहती थी, लेकिन आई हैड अनदर प्लान्स. But maybe from my center, I am doing something little bit of from my side what I can do. But university should think. You know, IIT they have just started modules, not a full program and degree in happiness. We have to teach happiness. The Delhi government school, you see, they are included happiness curriculum and all. So I think what even Bajpayee sir said, that happiness has to be a method, you know. We have to bring reformation and for rehabilitation and reintegration in the society. We have to have the happiness as a systematic approach, if you ask me. I teach happiness. I promote happiness. I'm a person always talk on positive mental health, not on mental health issues. I believe that if I have this 3 P's, and I kept promoting in MIT also, and still I'm promoting that prevention of mental health issues and promotion of positive mental health. That is possible. Why we only focus on clinical approach? We have to prevent problems before it becomes a clinical problem. Who is doing this? Field of psychology need to come up and do this. Then everybody is busy in clinical. Why? I don't know. Because after World War II, we were given this mindset, PTSD karna as trauma of warriors ka. Uske baad clinical it became very important, and then it came as a history guides us. So we become that way. You know? History can be changed. You know? We see in our country happening. You know? So we need to understand that how the positive approach is also important. That's where in the criminal justice system, when we use these techniques and scientific tools, it will help us to decipher past, and it can give you easy to understand and catch those lies where I think truth is hidden. I can give you one example before I show you the video. Any question you have on this decoding exercise? I hope everybody's understood how emotion plays a very powerful role in our life, and we undermine it, you know. Every time it is processed. Non-verbal communication never stops. Communication, verbal stop ho jata hai. Abhi chup ho jayenge, khatam ho jayega session. But non-verbal nahi khatam ho. Non-verbal will end when we die. Spiritual science is something else which I am not around the topic to tell you, but it has a different connotation. But yes, non-verbal communication never stops. Verbal communication stops. And science of communication says 93% in effective communication is non-verbal. I don't know which college, which university is teaching this module. Non-verbal communication. 93% in effective communication is your non-verbal. And that is how I give this importance of micro-expressions. Whether micro-expressions is matching with what I'm saying, or it is not matching. If it is matching, I will be a happy person. If it is not matching, I will not be at ease with myself. I will not be comfortable with myself. You see, sometimes students make excuses. You see the eyeball going up. ये भी micro expressions है. Eyeball उनका देख story बना रहे हैं. बच्चे भी जब भी आप आपके बच्चे होंगे घर में जो story झूठ बोलते हैं, eyeballs देखो उनका. जैसे उन्होंने बताया कि मानसी का straight eye contact. पर जब हम झूठ बोलते हैं, eye contact हमारा ऊपर जाता है. Eyeball, sorry. They will not make straight eye contact. ये तो हम लोग सब जानते हैं. But जब ये काम करना पड़ता तो भूल जाते हैं सब. You know? So we have to understand that this is a behavior. This is a reflex which is biologically, physiologically happening. इसको आप control नहीं कर सकते. You can't control. Lies can't be controlled. तभी lie detector and all these instruments are there. उन्होंने बड़े अच्छे articles भी है Professor Paul Ekman का आप लोग पढ़ो जो psychology वाला और जो जिसको interest है. Lot of researches. You can't control. Your body cannot control lies. वो बता देगा कि हम झूठ बोल रहे हैं. अब ये हमारी expertise है पकड़ने की ना. Training होनी चाहिए ना. So that's how we need to understand the role of micro expressions. इतनी importance रखती है in the science today to deliver justice system. If we really use it in a proper mechanism, proper method, then it will give us a clue. I'm not saying it will give you a fact in that context to take a decision, but at least it will give you a clue to other areas, other reasons for this, you know. And it's a basis for your other interpretation. And maybe it is not whole story, but it indicate a story again. Story behind story. You know? I always say. आप उसको पूरा final definite interpretation you should not think, but you should always think there is more to it. There's more story behind it, which we have to discover, uncover, and go to the truth of the behavior why he has or she has done this. So micro expression, to give you my summary point for you before we play a video, that micro expression is a facial expression that only lasts for a short moment, half a second, I would say. It is the innate result of your voluntary and involuntary emotional response. I'll repeat, voluntary and involuntary emotional responses occurring simultaneously and conflicting with one another, and occurs when the amygdala, I told you the emotional process, amygdala responds appropriately to the stimuli, as many of you written as a psychology faculty might be stimuli, and that individual experiences and the individual wishes to conceal this specific emotion I don't want to show. But here Mansi showed her positive emotion, but I don't want to show. You will see in the video. So concealing is something which you are doing, but it is conflicting because you have already expressed. This is the beauty of this micro expression. You want to conceal, but you have voluntary, involuntary expressed because amygdala can't control. कभी गुस्सा नहीं करना चाहिए कहते हैं. गुस्से में हमको कुछ नहीं दिखता, कुछ नहीं सूझता. ये सारी बातें साइंटिफिक. क्योंकि amygdala hijacks your thinking power, prefrontal cortex, which thinks, which decides, which rationalizes. It is hijacked. So मैं आपको scientifically भी explain कर रही हूँ ताकि you understand better and relate to yourself. So micro expressions cannot hide your facial expressions. The facial expression, micro expression is a facial expression devoted to facial expressions, and you identify from eye movement, mouth movement, nose movement, cheek movement, upper, I think head movement, your jaw movement. When I'm speaking, you can see everything. And how synchronized it is, it will give you an understanding of human emotion or human feelings, which person is feeling that. And I hope you are able to understand what I'm trying to say. If you have any question, there are so many things I can go on talking, but time is limited. But this is what micro expression is. It's a very, very, very subtle, very, very short, very it is a minutest expression which we do. And you will see in the video, it was so interesting to look at. It happens. It's unconscious emotion, I would say. Even Professor Antonio, California University, UCL, he has stated emotion is unconscious. I was not knowing. I was a voracious reader in psychology field and doing research in this area for a long time. I want to bring out this technique that how emotion can be, and I'm doing with one of my scholars, that how emotion can be regulated positively also, and we can train mind and new neurons can be developed. We are doing that. And a lot of interventions I have developed, and I see a lot of good results coming to me. Why only focus on clinical? So emotion regulation can be taught. So a lot of crime can be reduced if we can do it early in family, school, college, universities. And that's where centers are required. That's where university centers are required. Research centers are required to do something in this area. And there is one center of emotion intelligence in Yale University, must look at. So easy to train people on that. You can use in your college university system for your students. When you're happy, sad, what kind of color you see. You know, it's so interesting. Someday want, I can come and do a workshop on that if you're interested online. That's such an amazing thing which we can all easily do it and we can learn from it. So this is what emotion is, and micro expressions, psychology of micro expressions. And if you have any question, I am ready to answer.
Ma'am, with the help of micro expressions, we can narrowing down the investigation.
Yeah, I have not gone in detail because there are three types. Good, you reminded me. There are three types. There's simulated expressions, there are neutralized expressions, and there are masked expressions. So जो आपका question है वो masked expressions का, जो मैं छुपा रही हूँ, आप उसको help करोगे victim जो है या crime जो किया है या person who is offender is hiding that emotion, as masking that emotion, you can try to retrieve that information from micro expressions. But you have to be expert on that. You have to have training on that, how to check those non-verbal, which is happening in a fraction of a second, and it's contradicting also. तुम्हें happiness दिखा रहा, but अंदर से वो छुपा रहा है कुछ. That you have to be intelligent and expert enough to understand. Yeah.
Ma'am, if someone is habitual to hide his expression, और sometime वो झूठ बोलने का एकदम habitual हो गया है, तो ऐसे केसेस में, हाँ, ऐसे केसेस में उनको हम कैसे उनके एक्सप्रेशंस को पकड़ पाएंगे?
नहीं, आप ये किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, स्टूडेंट के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, फैमिली
नो मैम, क्राइम के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, जैसे कोई सीरियल किलर है, तो वो हैबिचुअल है क्राइम करने के लिए या मर्डर करने के लिए, तो हमेशा वो मना करेगा कि मैंने नहीं किया, क्योंकि वो तो हैबिचुअल है, वो हमेशा जेल में आता है या जो भी चीज है. तो ऐसे केसेस में उनके एक्सप्रेशंस को हम कैसे कैच करेंगे?
नहीं, आप देखो ना, सीरियल किलर अपने बिहेवियरल सिग्नेचर छोड़ते हैं. आई टोल्ड यू ना, ये एक अलग टॉपिक है, क्योंकि अभी मैंने माइक्रो बिहेवियरल सिग्नेचर आप पढ़िए. बिहेवियरल सिग्नेचर में आपको थीम इमर्ज होगा. वो जैसे एक स्टडी की गई रेपिस्ट पे, यूएस की स्टडी थी, उसका कितने रेप किया उसने, सीरियल रेपिस्ट था, and they found that it is because of his need of emotion was too high, which was not fulfilled in his life, so he used to satisfy himself through committing rapes and this crime, heinous crime. So and that theme was emerged in his body language, जो crime spot पे मिलता था, तो behavioral signature उसका दिखता था. But it was right to spot by the psychologist and forensic expert and forensic psychologist. उसी ने जब इतने सारे हो गए तब बाद में पता चला. It's too late. That's what I'm saying. I keep on commenting. We have a group, we have a criminal psychologist in our group, in our board. We always discuss cases, and we find that ये पहले होता तो ये इतनी problem नहीं होती. लेकिन कौन कर रहा है? That is why I raised this question to Dr. Asha Srivastava, who is the director of CBI lab. मैंने कहा आप लोग तो बहुत देर बाद जाते हो जब सब कुछ हो ही जाता है. So that's why I started with my point that human element is very, very important. The person who is doing it is also, we are having a human element. No? If I am not expert, I am doing my job. I am damaging more than adding value. You're getting the point. So it's very important that I need to catch that signature pattern of that crime before it is committed so many. And this was given by FBI. This term was, if you read this etymologically, how it came out, this was because they were finding difference in the approach and the theme. So he devised that we should give this behavior a name, a behavioral signature. So that is how the term was coined by John Diner, I think, in American psychology field, and then FBI people doing a lot of inquiry in cases, and that's how it came out. So it's very important. It's a very relevant question you asked. It's very important. Lying behavior can be detected easily. I think you can't control. There's an article also by research also by Paul Ekman on science of lying. That you can't control the lying. People deceive it because you are smart. You have mastered. You have learned that. Control that emotion through our training. ये भी तो करते हैं ना लोग. So जब मैं इतनी सारी चीजें देख रही हूँ psychologist, I'm getting motivated. Why can't we train people on positive emotion regulation? जब ये सारी चीज negative में कर रहे हैं लोग, positive emotion regulation क्यों नहीं हो रहा? क्यों नहीं सिखा रहे हैं बच्चों को, students को, college में, universities, faculty, everybody, parents, they need to learn more right now to make their future safe. That's where the problem lies. So this is very important. We can detect lying behavior. Lying का मैंने कहा gestures देखोगे ना आप, ऊपर जा रहा है balls, और आपका language and body language, verbal communication and non-verbal communication will never match. You can see the gaps. वो भी एक है spot, identify and detect.
Yes.
Any other question?
Ma'am, I have. Ma'am, as you said, the personality is all about to express things, and also personality is all about to non-expressed things. The non-expressed things can come in the micro expression, so you can judge it. Yeah,
it can. Micro expression can come into non-verbal. It is a part of non-verbal communication. Kinesthetic signs, kinesthetic personality we say, visual personality we say, auditory personality we say. It is a kinesthetic signs that you understand minutest detail of body language. And non-verbal to मैंने कहा, it double stops. So you can easily decipher non-verbal if you are expert. As a behavioral psychologist, I have been doing my life since I think so many years. I'm now coming to more than 2 decades. So I can decipher. People enter in my room, I know kahan se problem kya aa rahi hai. And also adding my spiritual knowledge, science, it really helps me to decipher what is the non-verbal person. See, it's your energy. Let me know, ask from you all, and you all must be knowing it. That's why I'm using this statement that when you meet somebody, even online today, I can feel that you want to be with that person. And sometimes you meet a person face to face and you just want to run away. वो क्या होता है? Because your energy is meeting first before you met that person. This is spiritual science. This is also science. And American, they are using energy medicine to heal people now. And this is already there in our culture, yoga science, which we are not using it properly. That's what I'm promoting yoga meditation, to promote this energy science, to manage and balance ourselves and do things rightly and correctly for ourselves, and keep our health glowing and growing in a more healthy manner. We can do it. So you are saying non-verbal तो है, energy कहाँ से डालोगे, energy किधर ले जाओगे? अभी कोई science research नहीं है इसको. That's what I am researching, that energy is making a point. You send an SMS to that person कि मैं आ रहा हूँ but मैं बहुत तकलीफ में हूँ, पता है मैं गाली सुनाऊंगा आके. SMS चला गया लेकिन आके बड़ी अच्छी बातें कर रहे हो, अंदर से तो बड़े दुखी हूँ. Conflicting view है ना, body language तो बता रहा है. घर में करते हैं सारे दिन सारे लोग, husband wife, children, parent children. नॉन वर्बल आप देख रहे हो कुछ और कहना चाहते, फिर आप रहा नहीं जाता एज ए पेन, तो बता दो क्या कहना चाहते हो, कहते हो ना, बता दो भाई क्या कहना चाहते, बहुत हो गया. So we all know, see, we all as a human being, God has given that conscience and consciousness to understand, but we ignore it. We don't want to use that knowledge. We are in robotic AI mode every time we are in. And we just do it because we have to do it. Yeah.
One more question. In Sigmund Freud, actually, the suppressed thoughts cannot be expressed in the front of anyone. But that suppressed thought can come in the micro expression also.
You're right. I told you Sigmund Freud famous line that suppressed emotions will come in uglier form. Crimes, violence, ये सब तो suppressed emotion का है. I think this road rages, all suppressed emotions. एक trigger होता है वो मार देते हैं एक दूसरे को लोग. गाड़ी में थोड़ी सी खरोच लग गई. Life is more important than that dent in the car. Don't you think that? पर उसके लिए आपने मार दिया. ऑमलेट में प्याज नहीं पड़ा, उसके लिए बच्चे को मार दिया. What is this? This all suppressed emotion of that person. That's why I tell you that person you meet negative personality, negative attitude, we need to take care of them. They need help. I'm a psychologist, I'm telling you, this is my experience. And I used to tell in my university and in my centers also that if you see that kind of person, please help. Somebody who doesn't want to take help, that's a different story. I'm not saying कि आप जबरदस्ती किसी को कुछ कर सकते हो, but at least be humane to them and then they will come and tell you stories. मैं इसलिए परेशान था. We had centers of counseling in university. Some students only come to talk. मैं बात करने आया हूँ बस, कोई नहीं है बात करने. Now psychologists will be paid to talk only. अगर psychology faculty सुन रहे हैं तो बच्चों को बताएं करियर बहुत अच्छा होने वाला है क्योंकि old age is a big problem. कोई बात करने के लिए नहीं, बात करने के लिए पैसे मिलेंगे. What I'm saying that we need to understand. You are making a good point that आपका non-verbal और आप जिस तरह से behave कर रहे हैं, who is watching you? Nobody. अब वो धीरे धीरे आदत बन जाती है. नेगेटिव हम कर रहे हैं तो चलो इसको ऐसे हम यूज कर सकते हैं. So we have to be very, very, I think, alert with our young kids, our students, our children, that how we are capturing their emotional moments and make their developmental experiences very healthy, very positive, very constructive. If there is a problem, let's discuss and make them understand this is a problem, this is not right behavior. Lying behavior अच्छी बात नहीं है. एक दिन बच्चे ने पेन लेके आया, पेंसिल लेके आया, आपने कुछ नहीं बोला. So you are I think there are famous story that how that person bit ear of his mother that तुम पहले बता देते शायद मैं आज ये फांसी पे नहीं लटकता. तो ये ट्रेनिंग की बात है ना दिनेश जी, ये हो नहीं रहा ना. वी डोंट हैव टाइम, इग्नोर करते चलते हैं, बाद में करेंगे, वही बाद में बहुत लेट हो जाता है. So emotion is all the time playing unconsciously. Based on this research, I am trying to develop how to regulate emotion positively. You see a snake, you have fear expression. वो हमारा reptilian mammalian brain अभी तक चल रहा है. हम लोग hunter थे, उसी तरह से हम लोग behave ही कर रहे हैं आजकल. Reactive ही रहते हैं, responsive नहीं रहते. Horn, जब दो कोई गाड़ी, when you are stuck at traffic jam, why people हॉर्न सो मच, जान रहे कि आगे ट्रैफिक, फिर भी हॉन्किंग करते हैं ना, हॉर्न दे रहे हैं. दैट्स नॉट गुड, दैट्स देयर फ्रस्ट्रेशन. अरे भाई आप देख रहे हो सब जगह जाम है. कभी कभी मुझे उनको ऐसे नमस्ते करके बोला, आप चुप रहो, वी कांट मूव. आई मेक एन अपील टू देम, डोंट मेक इट सो. वी आर इन स्टक डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन राइट नाउ, लेट्स ऑल प्रे, लेट्स मूव आउट फ्रॉम दिस डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन. सो ये मुझे लगता है, मैं तो कभी कभी विजुलाइज करती हूँ, व्हेन यू आर ट्रैफिक रेड लाइट जैसे ही खत्म होता है, जैसे सब भागते हैं लोग, पता उनको बंद कर दिया गया है जेल में. मुझे ये एक्सपीरियंस होता है. आई एम जस्ट शेयरिंग द अदर साइड. दिस इज अ ह्यूमन बिहेवियर व्हिच आई कीप ऑन सीइंग ऑन रोड्स एंड एवरीवेयर व्हेन आई गो एज अ साइड. आई शुड नॉट डू, बट क्या करूँ, मेरा ट्रेनिंग ही वैसा है, साइंस और लर्निंग भी होता है इससे ना, कैसे पीपल आर बिहेव. मेट्रो बिहेवियर देखिए आप, रेलवे प्लेटफॉर्म बिहेवियर देखिए, एयरपोर्ट भी. साइकोलॉजी स्टूडेंट को आप जॉब दीजिए, काम दीजिए, give them this task and projects, mini projects, and tell them to share in the classroom. It will be interesting. Theories कितना पढ़ोगे जो अमेरिकन बता के गए, कुछ नया theories बनाए. Let's create new theories. That those theories were only on 6% of population of America, and it is going to whole world. This is right. I confront it. If I want to use this theory, I will try to do on my sample, and then I will say, oh, it is a foolproof system. So that is how we need to do advancement in researches in the areas which you are, not only psychology, whatever area you have to see the latest, what is happening, what is the recent trend. Recent trend in emotion says that we can regulate our emotions. Neuroscience says that. This is one thing which we can do. One thing which we have control is your emotions. If you train your mind, you can control the emotions. So that's what we have to train people early, so that they are well behaved, they understand, and problems need to be discussed, not suppressed. What you said, Freud, नॉन वर्बल बिहेवियर में आता है, वो दिखता नहीं है ना, बिकॉज वी आर नॉट एक्सपर्ट टू डिटेक्ट इट. एंड जब तक डिटेक्ट नहीं करेंगे, वी कैन नॉट करेक्ट इट. So detection leads to correction, and this is how it happens in forensic science as well. You have to detect to correct it before it becomes a criminal behavioral aspect. So this is what it is. I think I have tried to cover in short span, and before it's already one.
Yes, ma'am.
Now video का मैं चाहती हूँ एक expression दिखा दीजिए, so that whatever I have said it makes sense. Only 2 minutes. 1 minute में आपको एक उस वीडियो में only you can see on your own. You can share with the audience. Link आप share कर दीजिएगा. There's a lot like that. Only one behavior I would like you people to see. What I was saying, what Dinesh was making a point, you will see in this video right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Very interesting, and you should learn from this. Is a learning video, तो आप लोग यूज कर सकते हो, freely available है. ये बहुत सारी, ये यूरोपियन पॉपुलेशन पे, एशियन पॉपुलेशन पे भी है.
Welcome everybody to this practitioner bonus session number 13. In this video we're going to analyze advanced microexpressions in 4K video quality. And my name is Patrick Fizowski, founder of the Center for Body Language. What you're going to experience is very high quality of video of microexpressions. Microexpressions are movements of the facial muscles of half a second or shorter, and therefore are the most reliable signs of what somebody truly feels. Now we're going to analyze 14 videos. In the previous video we have covered mainly faces from Asia. Now we're going to cover mainly faces from North America and Europe. Are you ready? Here we go for the first video. So what do you think? Which microexpressions did you see? Well, let's have a look what the answer is. What you see here is a combination of happiness and disgust. About disgust, you probably know it's the wrinkles around the nose, the upper lip going slightly upwards, the movement that you can see here right now. Happiness is because you see the lip corners slightly going upward. Do you see the lip corners, both of them going upward? Oh, that's a very small happiness there. Let's have a look closer. So here's the disgust, upper lip going upward and the wrinkles around the nose. You see this area here? That one is moving, and that's why this is disgust. And the lip corners, here are they when you zoom in. Let's have a look at the next one. Here we go. This is a combination of 3 emotions. So I'll play it once more for you so you can spot them easier. This one is not easy. So let's have a look closer what the answer is for this one. What happens here is this movement, lips pressed against each other, chin slightly upwards. That's sadness. You see also the lip corners going slightly downwards a little bit. You see this corner here a little bit. This is sadness. Then also here you have disgust. Do you see the movement around the nose? The upper lip going upward? That's disgust. And then here, this one, this lip corner here goes upward on the right side on your screen. So this is a very small contempt. As you may remember from the theory, contempt can be positive and negative as the meaning of it. So be careful with the interpretation, but we're just looking to identify the family of emotions here. Let's have a look closer. This is in real time: sadness, disgust, contempt. That's how it goes. Once more: sadness, disgust, contempt. Now also interesting about this one, this lady was...
So I think people can see on their own. It's very interesting. It's a training video.
Yes,
and you can see how first video, how happiness and disgust both was there. You are showing happiness, but actually there is something more to it, you know. So it's very interesting. Or Dinesh was asking question. Now see the non-verbal कितना important play कर रहा है. But इसकी training आप लोग भी अपने forensic expertise department में ये सब video free है. And good because of this online thing we can track those things and identify, or otherwise we never used to do it. So it's a good thing. Technology is helping us in big way in education. If we really want to use it, it can give us a lot of constructive ideas, thoughts, and scientific points to do research scientifically. So with this, I end my session, and I am very hopeful that it must have given some understanding to you all, or some good points for your learning. And I would suggest and advise, please use it in your daily life also. You know, it makes your life much more simpler. And life is not complex. Make it simple. When you are simple, you are happy. When you are complex, you are unhappy. Simple thing, which I keep on repeating every time. So with this, I wish you all good luck. Thank you so much. Namaste. Namaste. Have a nice day. And I hope you enjoy your other sessions as well. Thank you. God bless you all. And thank you, Swati, and all my regards to Professor Dhar sir. I think.
Thank you, ma'am, for
you.
very interacting lecture.
And thank you to all my participants who listened and with the patience and never asked questions. But I would look forward more questions next time. So, and I also ask people to ask questions. You know, online will be more interesting if we have more interactive sessions. Don't make it one way. That's my learning from online, which I have always shared with wherever I go in any forum, so that it gives you a perspective that yes, you can do it. I did a role play. Why only classroom ही से कि role play हो सकता है? यहाँ भी हो सकता है. It's easier, and you have better control in the time management in this community. Anyway, we surpassed the time. Thank you for your patience. I know the lunchtime is there. So thank you all, and God
Thank
bless
you, ma'am.
Ma'am, in near future, we will definitely organize workshop for faculty members and students.
Thank you, Swati. Sure, I will be there, no problem.
Yes, ma'am. Now,
No, ma'am. Yes.
now I request Dr. MP Gautam sir for concluding remark.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Abha Singh. I have attended the full your presentation.
Thank you so much, sir, for being there.
It was very interesting, as well as some learnings would also be obtained by our listeners. Actually, we are not directly concerned with the psychology, but we are fortunate enough that our vice chancellor, Dr. Upendra Dhar, is from psychology, and he always tried to give some inputs for the forensic investigation with the help of the psychology. Actually, I was very much impressed with Professor Saxena. He was in the Sagar Central University. Professor H.S. Saxena sir was a very great psychologist in the 60s, 1960s. Then Professor Purohit came as a professor and head. Yeah, I am very much impressed with the points which you have talked about the science of emotions. Similar the case, the human element. I visited so many times with the investigation of the police station, and I was observing that TI is looking the suspect from upside to here to toenail. He was observing. So once I asked, what you are doing? Sir, it is a psychological examination. So I was thinking, without having any knowledge, how they are doing this practice. Today, I could get one new word, the micro expression. In our daily life, we do this thing in so many times, whether we have to give some indication to everybody or something else. So just I correlated this micro expression with our forensic science. Because when we go to attempt the crime scene investigation, our trace element plays a very significant role. So just like a micro and just like a trace evidences, which are very much valuable in the criminal investigation. And one more thing which you have discussed about the communication skill and body language. So our faculty members are over here. I don't think that they could have got any chance to visit any crime scene, but in future they may go. So your body language plays a very vital importance in the public. They expect something, that the forensic scientist has come, and your body language should be like that, that you will achieve something. Senior police officers, you were talking about the Madam Srivastava, CBI director. I had been so many times to CBI, I got training in the CBI when Dr. Bami was the director, the first director, and then became the Saigal Saab. So I was with the Dr. Guru Prasad in CBI, the ballistic man. So body language is very much important as far as the human element is concerned in every part of life. Either you are a scientist, either you are a judge, or so whatsoever you may be. And to see what is the significance of psychology. You are a teacher. When you will go in the class, before talking to your students, before examining, either you are threatening them, you should see the psychology of the student. It plays a very much importance. If it could have been your son, will you behave like this? So psychology is a very big, and fortunately we are having the forensic psychology. We are teaching forensic psychology. There are some students working in this field. So 2-3 points I have noted this thing, and it was a very good, pleasant occasion for us. And in future also we will accept. No, I could know the connection between our Vice Chancellor and you, so I can call you at any time. Now it is a privilege for us. I will talk to Dr. Swati Mishra. So he may call you at any time, because we are also running the forensic psychology course. Even for the criminology, we are also running the criminology. So whenever we will be there any need of such a experienced personality, Dr. Ravar Singh, I will call you. Thank you very much for.
Thank you so much. And you can also call me for PhD program if you want to have any input from my side. So I will be more than happy to.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much
Okay.
for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your concluding remark, and thank you, ma'am, for your interacting session. Thank you for all the participants. Next session will be on the same link, and it will be on the schedule time which is given to you in the schedule. I declare this session complete. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
मैम
हाँ
1:30 पे स्टार्ट होगा ना?
नहीं, अपन लोग क्या करते हैं, थोड़ा सा
ब्रेक देकर
बात करते हैं, है ना?
All the participants are requested to please hear with this link. Next session will be in this link only.
Ayush sir, कब होगा next session? 969. तो हट गया ना?